A short video to show you how easy it is to have our students create audio reports or podcasts. So let me show you how it's done through GarageBand. First, you'll go to the Launchpad and you'll select GarageBand. GarageBand generally opens to your last project, so it's probably going to open to my training. So I'm going to open a new project. This is an empty project, so I'm going to choose an empty project. And this is just going to be an audio report or a podcast or, some kind of project that we have these kids speaking in English. So I'm going to choose the microphone and create. Now we don't need all these fancy tools. So I'm going to go up here to this icon and I'm going to close the library. And then I'm going to go up to this icon and I'm going to close this control panel because this is good for when you're creating music or particular sound effects, but we're not going to have that in our audio report. So I'm going to close that. And then the other buttons are your general recording buttons: replay, fast forward, stop, play, record. This is a loop button, but we're not going to need that for our audio report. This is a tuner. That's in case you have instruments, so we're not going to activate that. I do want the count in because I want it to count down so that I know when it's actually going to start recording my voice. And I don't need the ticker, the tick, 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 when you're actually recording music. We don't need that for our audio report. So we're going to click on it to deactivate it. Then you can have the students create notes on GarageBand of what they're going to say. I find it easier to have the kids write it down on paper prior to and then just read it. This is to incorporate music, which we will do at the end, and this is video or pictures that we can incorporate into our project, but that gets a little more complicated, and we're just going to do a simple GarageBand audio report. So now I'm going to start my project, and I'm going to press the record button and it will count down, and then it starts my recording. I have to make sure that my volume is up loud enough to where it will record my voice. A lot of these kids are very intimidated and will speak in a very low voice so that nobody else hears them speaking English. This is what I found when I was monitoring the telepaths. They would laugh at each other, and the kids would really whisper to try to not be heard by anybody else, which I wonder if it actually recorded their voice for the telepaths and they were able to pass. So I'm going to stop the recording. I pressed the record button to stop, but really I should have pressed the stop button. And then I'm going to take my cursor back to the beginning, and I can listen to my recording all over again. And then it starts my recording. I have to make sure, but for the sake of the video, we don't want to just go over it again. But there is dead space down here at the very end that I will want to delete, because if you notice, my lines on my sound bar stop right about here. So I want to go to right after my last vocal out there, and I'm going to want to delete this 1 or 2 seconds of recording. So to do so, I would go up to Edit and I would go to Split Regions, and it splits it. I can carry this out and then I can delete it by just pressing the delete button. And my recording will actually stop when my voice stops instead of having more dead sound. Now I'm going to want to add some music to the background just to make my presentation pleasing to the ear. So I'm going to add a sound effect. I'm an 80s type of girl, so I like 80s type music. So I'm going to click on, and that's probably a little too loud, but there's probably, that one's pretty good. So I'm going to incorporate that by dragging and dropping it. Now you'll notice that this will only go about 5 seconds into my recording. I'm going to close this window so that I can. But all I need to do really is to click up at the top, and drag it out, and it will continue to repeat all the way until my voice is done. And then I don't want this music to overpower my voice, so I would just lower the volume here, and then I would take my cursor back to the beginning, and I would play. And then it starts my recording. I have to make sure that my volume is up that I have sound in the background. Record my... All right, that's the simple way to create an audio report for your class. I hope you have fun with this. Super easy and really good for our students to practice English. Once the student has finished with their audio report, they can share it with you on Schoology by going up here to share, and then they'll export song to disk, and then they need to name it, whatever. I would put their name and their period, and they need to change it to their desktop and export. Once they do that, it will export onto the desktop, and it will look like this as an MP3 player, and then they can upload that into Schoology just like they upload any other assignment. All right, have fun.